All right, good morning. Let's get started. I was reading today some out of Amos and about judgments of God. It's a heavy book. I hope I can do a devotion on that soon. I was also in Revelations this morning, and it talked about all these nations and kingdoms coming together and offering their power unto the beast, and they're going to go against God. But of course, He overcame them. I got to thinking about how they went to battle against the Lord, but they didn't have wise counsel. They didn't have scriptural counsel. And I had already written this verse down, so I went ahead and developed the thought. It says in Proverbs 20:18, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. So when we want to see a specific outcome in a matter, we ought to seek established counsel and good advice. And that's what the verse is recommending here. So would we go to those who are less knowledgeable in the matter or subject? I would hope not. Would we go to those who are not even as far along as we are? Maybe they're less spiritual, like those who we're leading. Maybe they're not the best people to go to for counsel and advice because they're not spiritually as strong. Would we go to those who don't have any experience in the matter or haven't had any success in that subject at hand? I would hope not. Now, I do want to preface that someone younger doesn't mean they don't have wisdom. If what they have to say lines up with the Word of God, then they at least have wisdom. Now, they may not have experience in that matter, but they can have wisdom. But my point is we're not going to go to those who... why don't we just take our own advice, right? Why even go to anyone if they're going to be not as far along as us, if they don't have experience in the matter, and if we're over them, leading them, and we have more knowledge? Like, why would we go to that person? So got me thinking about Rehoboam. That was Solomon's son, and when he came into the kingdom, he sought advice from the older men who counseled with his father and the younger men, those who were under him, those who were around him, those who were more like his peers. And he ended up taking the harsh advice of the younger men, and it caused Israel. It caused the 10 tribes to revolt against his kingdom. It says even until this day. And so where we gather our advice is important. So where's the one place that we as believers ought to seek counsel and advice? It's clearly from the Word of God. And it needs to, and we can get counsel and advice from other people who are maybe experts in other areas, but their advice ought to line up with what God says. Otherwise, we're contrary to Him, and He's not for that. He's against that. All right, so in Psalm 33:11, it tells us, the counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of His heart to all generations. Right? We should seek counsel from those who know the Lord and who line up with the Lord. All right. Next, it says Proverbs 1:5, a wise man will hear and will increase in learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. We should surround ourselves when we need wise counsel and advice, and we want to win battles and wars. We should surround ourselves with those who can take us further than we are. Not those who are behind, not those who are less spiritual, but those who are more spiritual. And to think that we know it all and have all the answers and have seen it from every way or perspective is really rather foolish. The heart of man is foolish. And so why would we think that we know everything or have all the answers? But then lastly, I'm going to read something to you out of Isaiah 11. It says 11:1-5. It says, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. Now this is talking about Jesus now. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. Think about all that we can get and gather from God Himself, from Christ, from the Word. It says, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes. So just because he sees something, he's not going to judge according to that. Neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. Just because he hears something, he's not going to move based on that or reprove based on that. It says, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reign. Where are we going to get our counsel from? from the one who has the spirit of wisdom, understanding, counsel, and might, and knowledge, and fear of the Lord, that's where it needs to be. And so we shouldn't be seeking out counsel and advice for subjects and matters to those who aren't lining up with the Word of God, who aren't really further than us in the Word of God, who don't have experience in battle and victory. And they very well may have had failures, but it shouldn't be a fail and never got up again. It should be a fail and continue to go forward for the Lord. So let's seek wise counsel before we make war or anything else. It's necessary, okay? Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice, make war.